Well, welcome everyone to our math segment today, and we are going to be working with fractions. Okay, what is a fraction, Richard? Okay, you gotta be paying attention. You gotta put that in your desk. Okay. Okay, what is a fraction, Richard? Good job. It is a part of a whole. A part of a whole. That is a fraction. Okay, so how can we show a fraction? What can we do to show what a fraction looks like? Okay, model form. Okay, we have to draw a model. Okay, what can we do, Savannah? Okay, good. We can draw a pie. So here's our pie. We can, and then we can cut it into how many pieces? Okay, as many pieces as we want, right? Because we're drawing fractions. Okay, so we can do this right here. We can draw it into fourths. Right? What can we do to show 1/4 of this pie right here? Good job. Good job. We can color 1/2 of it, right, James? And the 1/4 of it. We're going to color 1/4 of it to show that we have one part of the 4 whole pieces. Right? So how do you write that in fraction form, Alicia? Good job. We can write 1 as our part, 4 as our whole. Okay? So this is our part. This is our whole. Okay? So part of our whole. Okay, so now that is a little introduction to fractions. Okay, we can use any shape. We can use a circle such as a pie. We can use anything, like brownie pan, which is a square or rectangle. Okay, anything like that. We'll work on that a little bit. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to watch a short video on fractions that introduces fractions and what they do and how we can use them.
Cheer up, Moby. It's still early. Plus, it means more for us. Dear Tim and Moby, what is a fraction? From Blake. I can show you, Blake, using these tasty props. Cake and cookies. Sorry. Anyway, think of a fraction as part of a whole, or a set. Here, we've got one whole birthday cake, which I'm going to cut up into smaller pieces. Because it's nice to share, that's why. Now, if I cut the cake right down the middle, I get 2 equal-sized pieces. Each piece is one whole cake divided in 2, or 1/2 of the whole. We can write that as a fraction. This number, the denominator, tells us how many pieces make up one whole. The numerator tells us the number of pieces we're dealing with. So this is 1/2 of the cake, and these are 2/2. 2 divided by 2 is 1 whole cake. All right, now it's a party. To make sure everyone gets a piece, I'll cut the cake into 4 pieces. Each piece represents one of those 4 pieces, or 1/4 of the whole, so the fraction is 1/4. It's also called a quarter. Right, just like the coin, which makes sense because 25 cents is 1/4 of a dollar. Basketball games are divided into 4 quarters. Quarter past means 15 minutes after the hour, and 4 quarts make a gallon. This is 1/4 of the cake. This is 2 quarters, 3 quarters, and 4 quarters. 4 divided by 4 is 1, so 4 quarters is 1 whole cake.
Y'all.
Phew, good thing I've got some other handy fractions to fall back on. Let's see, I can split this cake into 8ths and even 16ths. Say, that reminds me. The inches on a ruler are broken up into fractions too. Different rulers may show half inches, quarter inches, eighth inches, and so on. 1, 2, 3. Each piece is 1 3/4 inches long. Y'all. Too small, huh? Okay, how about some cookies? Remember, we can also use fractions to talk about items in a group. Let's see, there are 15 cookies in the set, so that's our denominator. The cookies aren't all the same type. 7 are chocolate chip and 8 are oatmeal raisin. Those are our numerators. So 7/15 of the cookies are chocolate chip.
Okay, so we have a good idea of what a fraction is, right? Okay, you saw different types of fractions. We can have fourths, okay, like we did here earlier. We can have eighths, sixteenths, we can have sevenths, okay, we can have millionths, okay? But what we have to make sure of is that it is a part of a whole, okay? It can't just be one whole. Now, you can have what's called mixed numbers. That is a whole and a fraction combined, added together. But for today, we are just going to work on parts of a whole. Okay, so what you heard in the video, what is the top number called? What is the part number called? You remember? Good job. It's called the numerator. Good job, Alicia. And what is the bottom number called? Oh, not quite, Jake, almost. What is the bottom number called? Sadie. Good job. It's called the denominator. Good job. The numerator is the top number. The denominator is the bottom number. Okay, so now we're going to work on adding fractions together. What do we have to add fractions together? Do we have to have the same numerator or the same denominator? Good job. We have to have the same denominator, Richard. All right, we have to have the same denominator. Okay, so it is 1/3 and 2/4 have the same denominator? No, we have to have the same denominator. So let's go ahead and add both of these. Okay? So what can we do to get the same denominator? It's a quick and simple fix. Good job. We can multiply the denominators together. Okay, so what can we do? 3 times 4. 3 times 4 is what? Noah. It is 12. 12 is the denominator. Okay, we have 12. And we are going to add these together. Okay? Alright, so when we're finding the common denominator, we have to change the numerator also. So what can we do to change the numerator? We can multiply it by the opposite denominator, right? So we have to do 3 times 4 equals 12, right? So on top, we have to multiply it by the same number, right? Okay, good. So what is 1 times 4? 4, good. Right, and we are still adding these together. Okay, so what can we do to the other fraction to get an equivalent fraction for 2/4? What can we do? There, we can multiply it by 3. Good job. Multiply it by 3. 4 times 3 equals 12. What we do to the bottom, we have to do to the top. Do to the bottom, we have to do to the top. Okay, 2 times 3 equals 6. Okay, 2 times 3 equals 6. Now can we add? Do we have the same denominator? Yes, we do. Good job. So what is 4 plus 6? Drew, what is 4 plus 6? No, not quite. Bradley, what is 4 plus 6? 10. Good job, Bradley. 10. Now, do we keep the same denominator? Or do we add the denominators? We keep the denominators the same, right? And we keep the denominators the same. Why do we keep the denominators the same? Because it is the equivalent fraction for that whole number, okay? We have to keep the denominator the same because it's the equivalent fraction. Okay, so 10/12 is our new fraction. Okay, does that make sense to everyone? Is there any questions? Okay, good. Let's go ahead and move on. Okay, so we have this. Okay, now we are going to do some practice problems. Okay, so here are our practice problems. I'm going to go and write them up here. Okay, go ahead and get your whiteboard and dry erase marker out. Okay, because we'll be using those to solve these problems. Okay. Okay, go ahead and work on these just for a little bit. Okay? Okay, we'll come back in just a couple minutes to solve these together. Get this out of the way. Okay. Okay, let's go ahead and solve these, okay? So, number 1, 1/2 plus 1/2. How do we solve 1/2 plus 1/2? And do we have the same denominator? Yes, we do. Good job, James. So what do we have to do? Add the numerators. Good job. All right, what is 1 plus 1? 2. Good job. 2. And do we keep the denominator? Yes, we do, Richard. We do keep the denominator. It is 2 halves. Remember, when we have 2 as the denominator, we always say halves. Okay, what is 2 halves equal to? It is equal to 1 whole. Okay. All right, let's go on to number 2. How many parts are there? 1 part is colored. Good job. 1 part is colored. So Is that the numerator or the denominator? The numerator, good job. Okay. What is the denominator? How many total parts are there? 2, good job. So 1/2. 1/2. Good job, guys. All right, so here's a little bit harder one. Okay, we have two fractions. We're adding them together. But do they have the same denominator? No, they don't. So we have to find the same denominator. How do we do that? Good job. We can multiply them together, right? No, multiply the denominators together. So what do we multiply? 4 times 3. What does that equal? 12. Good job. And same thing for the second fraction, right, Richard? Okay, good job. All right, Alicia, you have any questions? Okay, what do we do next? Good job, Alicia. We have to multiply by 3 because 4 times 3 equals 12, right? Okay, what do we have to do on the top? Multiply by 3. Good job, Jacob. Multiply by 3. What is 3 times 3? 9. Good job. Oh, that was a bad 9. But all right. 4 times 3 equals 12. 3 times 3 equals 9. Okay. What do you do to the second fraction? Okay, we multiply 3 times 4 because 3 times 4 equals 12. Okay, what do we have to do to the top? Multiply it by 4, right? Okay, good job. All right, what is 1 times 4? 4, good job. All right, what is 9 plus 4? 13, good job. All right, Drew, let's pay attention now. Drew, do we have to add the denominators together? See, that's why you're not doing well. You're not paying attention. Okay. Do we have to add the denominators, Alicia? No, we don't. We keep them the same. All right. 13/12. Okay. Okay. That can also be made into a mixed number, but we're not going to get into that today. Okay. All right. Last one. What is this fraction? Good job, Sadie. It is 1/3. 1/3 is the fraction. Okay, good job. All right, so here's what we're gonna do now. Okay, I'm gonna leave this up for you. Okay, we're gonna have 4 problems just like this. Okay, and I'm going to give you an exit ticket. There's going to be 2 addition problems, okay, just like I did 2 name that fraction problems. Okay, and I'm going to take it out for a participation grade. Okay, I'm going to grade them and give them back to you tomorrow. Okay, all right, and I will be here if you need any help, but try and do the best you can by yourself before you ask for help.